Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Camera Aguiar. I am with the State Controller's Office on the Fiscal Change Management team. I have the pleasure of being your host today for this pre-go live town hall. Thank you for joining us. We're very happy to see you in this virtual format, and we hope that you find this session informative. Before we get started, we wanted to engage with everyone through a Mentee Survey. So we want to know what is something that makes you happy. So to facilitate this, I'd like to introduce my co-host and co-star, Brianna Lee.
Thanks, Camera. Hi, everyone. I'm Brianna with Fiscal Change Management, and I'll be pulling up the Menchie now. So as Camera was saying, the question is, what is something that makes you happy? Give everyone some time to log in and to submit a response. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Menchie and how to use it, but if you need a refresher, just go to www.mentee.com on your phone or computer and then type in that code that we have up on the top of the screen. It's also located in the chat bar.
Long vacation, I love that. The qualifier, it's got to be long vacation.
Those are the best ones. Yeah, seems like people like traveling, like taking time off. I think we can all agree with that.
People are thinking about all the traveling now that they're probably traveling a little bit more. Oh, my pets, I feel the same.
Yeah, me too.
Lots of food too. I mean, we're just coming off of lunch, so.
Puppies. Yeah, I like puppies too. And plants. I have plants. A 1-year vacation.
Puppies are like a good and a bad thing. They're a little hectic, but also adorable.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
They grow up so fast.
Yeah.
Cool. It looks like we're getting in a good amount of responses. Continue to send them in if you want to, and at this time I'll hand it back to Camera.
Okay. Well, thank you to everyone who participated in that. Something that makes me happy is my dog Mozzie. Very close second, I was thinking just now, is facilitating this town hall successfully without any technical issues. So we're off to a great start. We'll also be offering a Mentee survey at the end of the session to collect your feedback. So we hope you'll participate in that as well. Before we get into the content, I want to quickly introduce the subject matter experts who are here with us today. So in addition to myself and Brianna, we have James Anderson. James is Fiscal's digital media expert who helps all of our town halls run smoothly. So he's supporting us behind the scenes. From the State Controller's Office, we have Mabel Garcia and Sandeep Kumar, who are on the Milestone 5 sprint team. We also have Alana Smith, Joanna Ho, and Ame Save from Fiscal month-end close, year-end close team. And lastly, we have Esther Barbieri from the Department of Finance. So thank you to our SMEs for being here with us and sharing your expertise with us today. Before we start talking about Milestone 5 department functions release, I just wanted to give you an overview. So we're going to be doing that in 3 parts. Brianna will provide an overview of the functionality first. Brianna and I will then chat about how it will impact your departments. And then lastly, you'll have an opportunity at the end to ask questions of those subject matter experts, but you don't have to hold your question till the end. You can ask questions all throughout the session in the Q&A chat box, and we'll be taking a couple opportunities to pause and look through those questions. So to start, I will hand it off to Brianna to share the release highlights.
Thanks, Camera. So the first highlight that we have is just a reminder that the department's functions release is scheduled to go live on Monday, June 14th, 2021. So make sure to keep that in mind. Fiscal will be sending out a go live communication the day of to just notify you guys that it's live. And the second part is what we're going to be going over today is the functions release has two main areas of functionality that are going to impact departments. First, we have the auto reversal functionality. And second, we have the process to record reimbursement encumbrances in Fiscal. As part of this release, there's also going to be new SEO versions of Report 18 and 19 that are going to be available, but they'll be available at a later date.
Okay, thanks, Brianna, for that high-level overview of what the release includes. So let's start our Q&A with the auto reversal functionality. Let's just get into it a little bit with a little bit more detail. So can you provide us some background on the functionality?
Sure. So the auto reversal functionality is existing functionality in Fiscal that when an end user is creating a journal entry, reverses the original journal by creating a new entry with the same journal ID in the next period or when specified. Fiscal has improved this functionality to have the reversal journal inherit the budget date from the original journal. And since the reversal journal now inherits that budget date, any budget check errors that would have occurred previously if you were to have used the functionality will no longer occur. And now it allows the departments to be able to utilize the functionality.
Okay, awesome. It's always so great to see improvements that help departments. And so when are the best times for departments to use this functionality?
Yeah, departments should use the functionality whenever they would want to reverse an entry in the next period as part of their business process. So for example, an end user could use it at the end of this fiscal year for reversing year-end accrual entries in the new year.
Okay, so this will reduce the amount of manual reversal entries departments will have to create at year end then. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. This functionality is going to help to reduce department workload when they're creating their year-end accrual entries because they're no longer going to manually need to use that copy journal process to reverse entries in period one. And not to mention that the improved functionality is also going to help departments with their reconciliation because the reversal journal shares the same ID and budget date as the original journal.
Okay, awesome. Well, the participants are muted, but I'm pretty sure I heard applause at the words reduce department workload. So I think everyone will be very happy about that. So how technically will you use this functionality in Fiscal?
Yeah, so when an end user is creating a journal entry in GL, when they're there, there's going to be a selection on the page, and this is a blue hyperlink for automated reversal. When a department end user clicks on that option, it'll bring up a menu to let the user specify when they want the journal to be reversed. And for year-end accrual entries, an end user would typically choose beginning of next period.
Okay, and where can departments find more information about this functionality?
For more information, departments can watch a short overview video that we have on our YouTube channel. Kind of gives a high-level overview of the functionality and shows you where it is in Fiscal.
Okay, great. Let us take a second to look through and check for questions. So I see a question came in. Will the reversal journals still need approval and posting manually? I'll just give the subject matter experts a moment to unmute themselves.
Hi, Cameron. This is Esther here. Yes, so about the approval process, that the requirement of the approval and the posting will be the same as the previous journal. So if your original journal needs approval, that's how you set it up in the approval configuration. And if that needs approval, the reverser journal also needs approval. So it will be the same business process.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, we got some feedback in the Q&A, which is good to see. So great saving time. That's awesome. And will this work for the Budge legal ledger?
Yes, it will work for the legal ledger as well.
Okay. And will the attachments be included on the reversal?
We can come back to that question. I don't think it does, but we probably need to look more into that specific.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Mabel. So we'll mark that for follow-up. Let's see, we see some other questions. It sounds, so this is a timing question. It sounds like functionality can be done throughout the year, not just during year end.
That is correct. Whenever you need to do the reverser, you can use that functionality. It's not necessarily only for the year-end entry. For the year-end entry, please keep in mind that whatever the date that you choose to reverse may impact your closing, the month-end closing of the next fiscal year.
Okay. And can auto reversal function be used for a posted journal?
I do not believe so, but we need to double check and then get back to you on that.
Okay. So we can take, I think Brianna might be typing to this one as well. And then when using this functionality, can you edit the journal description or will it copy the original journal entry?
Anybody want to answer, or do you want me to answer that? Yes, so it will, when you reverse it, yes, it will copy the description of the original journal, but you can edit it as needed, or add the additional description. So basically, after the copy, it's going to be like kind of the wait. I think we need to take it back. It's different from Amit. Do you know about that? Sorry, I put you on the spot.
Hi, this is Amit. So I think let's take it back and verify it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, so Brianna's just making notes in here in response to these questions where we need to do some follow-up. So please share your email address with us so that we can follow up with you. Also at the end, we're going to be providing an email address that you can also follow up with by sending an email to us. So either way, you can either email us or you can provide your email address to us. And then it looks like the last published question I see here so far is previously, it was generally recommended not to use the auto reversal due to it causing errors on the new journal. Is the function okay to use going forward?
Okay, I will take that question. Yes, in the past, what happened is whenever we use a reverser function, the budget date do not populate correctly. And for that reason, last like 4 or 5 years, we've been teaching department not to use a reverser function. However, that defect has been fixed along with the milestone 5 implementation. So therefore, we bring this functionality back to the department to reduce the workload and save the time. So no, there will be no budget error or budgeting error anymore in the new journal.
Okay, thanks, Esther. And then is the reversal going to be the same journal ID or different? It's going to be the same journal ID, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Where can we find the YouTube info on the auto reversal?
Hi, Cameron. I'm going to publish the link to that.
Perfect. Okay, I see it there. You're fast. You must have already started on it.
Queued up.
You got a quick trigger finger. Okay, let's see. Will this work for all accrual entries A8?
Sorry, I got unmuted. Yes, it will work for all the accrual entry.
Okay.
It work both in the more accrual ledger as well as the legal ledger.
Okay. Okay, so it looks like that answered our next question for both ledger groups. What will be in the GL long description box of the reversal?
It will be same as the original journal.
Okay, so same text. Can you share the Q&A after the session? We have the same questions for those follow-ups. Brianna, how have you guys done this in the past?
Yeah, so usually we've transcribed the Q&A during the session, so we can work on doing that after this one as well.
Okay, great. Okay, it looks like we've gotten through all the questions, but if you feel like you still have a question, you can definitely add it in there and there will be time in the end, or a couple more times throughout the session for you to ask those questions. So let's move on to the next topic, recording reimbursements, receivables that result from encumbrances. So Brianna, what is the process for recording these reimbursement receivables?
The process is, so previously as part of the year-end A3 entries, departments would record all of their unbilled reimbursements in GL as a single journal using the source ACC. And for departments that do encumber their reimbursements, Fiscal has released a new journal entry source called ENR that departments should start using at this year-end to specifically record their reimbursement receivables that result from encumbrances.
Okay, so it sounds like the receivables must be recorded as separate entries. And why is this necessary?
Good question. This is necessary because, first off, recording these entries separately isn't a new process, but is just being reintroduced to Fiscal. And secondly, these separate entries are necessary for SEO year-end reporting because we want to make sure that the correct accrual information is included in SEO's financial reports, which eventually are going to be generated from Fiscal.
Okay. And so what will those separate entries look like in Fiscal?
What it's going to look like is departments are going to record their unbilled reimbursement receivables as 2 entries. One GL journal to record the unbilled reimbursement encumbrance from PO using the new source ENR, and then one GL journal to record the unbilled reimbursement from expenditure using source ACC.
Okay. And is there anything else that you think departments should know when they create journals with source ENR?
Yeah, there are a few other things that they should be aware of. So journals that are created with source ENR are going to follow the same workflow as journals that were created with source ACC. Journals with source ENR are also recorded in the ledger group modified accrual and should be reversed in the new year. And as a reminder, when you are creating these journals, departments should make sure that they utilize the auto reversal functionality that we just talked about to specify for these journals to automatically reverse in the next period.
Okay, great. And if end users want additional information around this process, where could they find it?
So end users can watch an overview video that we have on the Fiscal YouTube channel. And then for more information around the general accounting procedures and policies, departments should refer to the Department of Finance year-end training that's available on their website.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds like there are a lot of good resources available to support departments. Let's take another pause to look at questions. Let's see. Okay, is unbilled reimbursement encumbrance for Fund 0890 as well?
Yes, so there's no limitation about which fund. So this is like kind of the A3 entry business process. So in the past, actually going back to the CASA time, right? So you look at your reimbursement authority, and then you compare that with the total amount that you have billed. So regardless of your fund, regardless of your appropriation, and then you compare that, and you still have a authority left, and that is not billed, right? So then you go back and look at it. Is there any PO or encumbrance that is relating to the reimbursement? Or is there any other expenditure or the accrual expenditure that you have not billed? And so I'm talking from the CASA, time perspective, that you gather all this information and okay, I have X amount of the reimbursement that I have not billed. And then you segregate it, whether this reimbursement is coming from because of the PO or whether it is from the expenditure. So in CASA time, you have two different TC codes to segregate that so that you can incorporate that transaction into the report 1 and 2, right? Where you need to segregate that whether it's the receivable is coming from the encumbrance or not. So this different journal source ENR will help you with that. So after you get the data, the delta, that how much that you still have to bill, then you once you identify that out of that, the additional reimbursement that you need to bill, how much is coming from PO. So the portion that coming from PO, you're going to create with the journal source ENR, and then the rest you're going to create with the ACC. So to answer this question, there's no limitation of which fund that you can use. It's for every unbilled reimbursement, regardless of the fund.
Okay, thanks for that, Esther. Okay, and then would we still key an encumbrance reduction adjustment for the amount of the ENR portion?
No, because your encumbrance is encumbrance, right? So your encumbrance is going to be reported as a payable. But however, if that portion of the encumbrance is related to the reimbursement, then you will be recorded as a part of the A3 entry as a receivable.
Okay, and what is the difference between encumbering with ENR versus encumbering in the PO module using project costing?
Okay, so I think we got really confused here. We are not really talking about the encumbrance. Okay, going back and look at your A3 entry, we never have any of the expenditure account that we use. A3 entry is we use for the unbilled reimbursement. How did we accrue the unbilled reimbursement, right? Credit to the reimbursement 48 or 44 account, and then debit to the due from, right? So we are not really talking anything about the encumbrance. Encumbrance doesn't change. The business process for your encumbrance does not change. we are talking about your unbilled amount, right? Out of the unbilled amount that you are going to accrue as a part of the A3 entry at the end of the year, how much is related to your PO? That's all we are asking. It has nothing to do with the transaction in the encumbrance.
Okay, thank you. Let's see a few more. Can you show where we can find the year-end training again?
So the year-end training for this year is coming up, and then I believe that you should have already signed it up. Okay, so it will be covered in the DOF year-end training for all the detail. And then at the end of the training, we are planning to publish the PowerPoint on the DOF website. So you will see in the same place where you are seeing for the year-end training from last year. It will be just embedded into all the year-end slides.
Okay. And then let's see, Fund 0890. Oh, so this is referring back to the other question. So Fund 0890F account is not a reimbursement account. Do we need to create an A3?
So yeah, so if you do not create the A3 for that fund, then it does not pertain to that fund.
Okay. If the report 6 does not have any encumbrance for the reimbursement account, is it safe to assume that we do not need to do this entry?
Can you repeat that question again?
Sure. It says if the report 6 does not have any encumbrance for the reimbursement account, excuse me, is it safe to assume that we do not need to do this entry?
So now we are not really talking about any encumbrance amount in the report 6, right? If the encumbrance amount in report 6 is reimbursable through the reimbursement appropriation, right? If it's reimbursable, then yes, you do need this entry.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So it looks like that's all the questions we have, but again, you can continue to use that Q&A. So let's move on to our last sort of formal topic, and that is regarding some reports. So back to you, Brianna. I've heard some things about the new SEO reports 18 and 19, and would you tell us more about that?
Sure. New versions of reports 18 and 19 are going to be available at the end of June for departments to run. And these reports include SEO requested updates, and they will have additional columns that break the balances down into more detail. With these additional columns, end users can view distinct asset transaction amounts that were recorded in Fiscal, which can be helpful if you want to see the amounts recorded separately.
Okay, and do departments need to make any changes to their year-end business processes because of these updated reports?
No, departments don't need to make any changes for this fiscal year. These reports are going to be available for departments if they want to run them for more details, but they don't have to submit these SEO versions. They can continue to run their existing reports 18 and 19 for this fiscal year if they want to.
Okay, and is Fiscal going to notify departments when the new versions of report 18 and 19 are available?
Yes, so departments will receive a communication from Fiscal to let them know when the reports are available for them.
Okay, awesome. So that was all that we had planned for our chat kind of Q&A. We're looking forward to the new functionality for it to go live on Monday, June 14th. Thank you, Brianna, for walking us through the impacts to departments. You answered all the questions I personally had. We can use some of the remaining time to answer. It looks like we have about 30 minutes left. We can use some of the remaining time to answer any additional questions that you have. So please use that Q&A to ask anything. And then here on the slide is what I had mentioned. So this, if you have, a very specific question related to you or your department, or if it's very detailed, or if you need more on any of this, you can jot down this email address. So it's fiscal, fiscal.cmo@fiscal.ca.gov, and you can shoot us an email, and then hopefully you, anyone that had some follow-up has entered their email addresses in the chat as well. While we're giving folks additional time, let me just see. Let me see if I miss. Okay, there are a few. There's a few more questions. So can you repeat the answer to, I think this is for you, Esther. So can you repeat the answer to 0890 Fund A3 entry again, please?
Sorry, I going back.
That's okay.
So, reimbursement account, do we need to create the A3 entry? And so I would refer this question. I just don't want to get the wrong answer. I believe we do, because even though it is a federal fund, it's still the reimbursement, right? And then so as long as you have that A3 entry in your year end, yes, then you're going to use an ENR if you have an encumbrance related. So to answer the specific answer to the whether Fund 890 require A3 entry or not, and I will say stay tuned in the year end training, and then you will have a specific information there.
Okay.
If you have an A3 entry for the fund, then yes, you are going to use the ENR if you have an encumbrance related reimbursement.
Okay. Oh, thanks, James. Put the email address in the Q&A as well. So if you need that, you can just copy and paste it out of there. Thanks, James. Looks like we also have a question about reports 18 and 19. What new details are provided on those reports? Will it eventually add accum depreciation?
So the new report 1819, so compared to the existing department report 1819, the difference right now is where in your department report 1819, current report 1819, you have all the, asset beginning balance, and then year-to-date activity ending balance, right? So the new report 1819, we have a further breakdown, whether it is a new addition of the year or the deduction of the year plus manual adjustment. So currently in your report 1819, you really cannot see whether it is a manual adjustment or not. The new report 1819 will clearly display that if there is a manual adjustment, plus also accumulated depreciation in the new report 1819. However, I just want to remind again that this SEO version report 1819 is not supposed to be used for the fiscal year 20 reporting purposes. You will still be using and printing the existing report 18 and 19.
Okay, and there's another question.
Hey, Camera, before we get into that one, did we want to put up the Menchie survey?
Sure.
As we're answering the remaining questions?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let me advance. Okay, there it is.
Okay, cool. So everyone, if you go to look at your Menchie, there's some additional questions that we would like to ask from you to provide your feedback on how today's town hall went. We really value this feedback as we take it back to see how we can further improve our town hall events. So if you just go back to where you were previously, there are some questions that you could rate us on 1 through 5 with.
Good. Thanks, Brianna. So while people are doing that, we'll keep working on these questions. Let's see. When do we have to submit report 1819 that is generated from Fiscal?
So both reports are generated from Fiscal. So you have a two version here, report 1819, the existing function, the format, the version, departmental function we call it, and then also the SEO version. Both of them are coming from Fiscal. However, what we are asking is that you are going to submit the existing, the current report 1819 that you've been submitting to SEO in this fiscal year 20. So what's going to happen is that when you do the run, when you create the run control, when you run the report 1819, you have a selection. It will tell you SEO version, and it will just tell you report 18 and 19. So if there is no SEO version, that is your current existing 1819 version. So if you go and click on the SEO version /N5, then you're going to get the new version. I mean, you can run it for information if you want to know the transfer and menu adjustment separately in a separate column for your internal use. But you're not going to submit that report to SEO as a year-end financial statement.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then someone asked for a previous slide, and so I just provided the link to the slide deck that you can reference, so you can reference that at any time.
So I have an answer for the one question. There was a question asking there whether the reverser function can be used if the journal is posted. The answer is no. I just tested it in the QA. If it's already posted, all the box, the selection box for the auto reverser is grayed out, and there's nothing you can do. So once a journal is posted, and you cannot do the auto reverser, you cannot retroactively reverse, use that function retroactively.
Okay, thanks, Esther. Real-time response.
Okay, then we have another response. Sandeep was able to test to see if a reversal inherited the attachment, a reversal journal, and they don't inherit the attachment. But the system does allow the users to add an attachment to the specific reversal journal.
Okay.
And then he also tested the journal description, and he mentioned that it cannot be, the description cannot be updated on the reversal journal.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Mabel and Sandeep. Okay, it looks like the questions are slowing. Brianna, did we want to talk any more about the Mentee?
Not too much, besides the fact that I changed the slides. So now we're currently on a slide where you can just provide open feedback. So it's a free response. It's just asking, what did we do well today? What could we improve on our town halls? So feel free to submit any answers into that as well. But that's about it. I think maybe Cameron will stay on for another minute or so. If we don't get any new questions coming in, then that'll be the session.
Okay, it looks like we have one more, or maybe they're still trickling in. So, okay, is the SEO version of reports 18 and 19 formatted the same as the SEO template? Previously, we would run the report 1819 in Fiscal, then transfer the information to the SEO template published on the SEO website. Please advise.
The answer is no. The SEO version of report 1819 is part of the milestone file. It has nothing to do with the template that your department has been currently using.
Okay. Okay, looks like that's that. How How is GASB 87 impacting report 18 and 19? Yes.
So GASB 87, we have a new functionality for the GASB 87, more to come. Right now, we can really comment on this because this is the new requirement, and there will be the new functionality in Fiscal, and our folks in the DGS and SCO are testing on this functionality. And so the answer is more to come. Right now, there is no set in stone instruction right now yet. We stay in the testing stage.
Okay. Another one regarding reports. On report 18, the footnote is required for difference. How can we add a footnote to Fiscal?
I think I need to get back on this question, Cameron.
Okay. Okay, so if the person could please provide their email address, that would be good. Then we can get the answer to you.
Can you whoever asked that question, can you also clarify the difference? What the difference, are you talking about the beginning balance difference, or what difference are we talking about? Can we specify, please, so that way that I can bring the exact answer for you?
Okay. Okay, that's great. Okay, it looks like we have gotten to all your questions. So again, the email address is in the Q&A. I'll also advance the slide deck to include the slide with the email address. So please, send in any questions that you have. I want to thank everyone for attending, and I also want to thank our subject matter experts. And that's really all we have for you. So this concludes the town hall, and we look forward to Monday, June 14th. Thanks, everyone.